Hello everyone. So in this video we'll be discussing about HTML form elements. So this chapter describes all the different HTML form elements. So let us see. We've already discussed input label and rest all the select text area, button, field set, legend, data list, etc. etc. We'll be discussing in this lecture. So we have already discussed this input element, one of the most used form elements in the input element. The input element can be displayed in several ways depending on the type attributes. So label for fname, first name will be written over there, and then input type is equal to text, ID is equal to fname, and name is also is equal to fname. If you do something like this, and if I say Harsh, so it will submit my data, right? Now let us talk about the label element. The label element defines a label for several form elements. The label element is useful for screen readers because the screen reader will read out loud the label when the user focus on the input element. The label element also helps user who have difficulty on clicking very small regions like radio buttons or checkboxes. So for that, label element is there. Now talking about the select element. The select element defines a drop down list. You must have seen when you have to select a country, so all the countries list come down, right? So for that, we'll write label for cars. Now for let's see, we'll write form action will be this label for cars, choose a car label. Now select ID will be cars and name will be cars. Now when I used this select, and here ID is cars because we are labeling it for cars and name is also car. So now what I have to do, I have to put option value, Volvo, Saab, Fiat, Audi, all these option values are there. So now what I have to do, I have to select one of the, so a drop down menu like this comes. So I could select this, I could select Audi and I could submit this. Cars is equal to Audi is submit, right? So this is how we could use the select element, and option element could be used for making different kinds of option. Now let us talk about visible values. Use the size attribute to specify the number of visible values. So how many visible values will be there? So size is 3. If we mention the size over here, so in the drop down menu what will happen? Only 3 will come, then I will have to scroll down for the fourth one. For example, if I have a, let's say, fifth one also, let's say I have this option value as fifth one also, and let me change it to BMW. So now what will happen? Only 3 will come and rest I have to scroll it down. So size is selected to 3, so the drop down menu will be of size 3. Only 3 options will be available over here. So now you could also allow multiple selections. Use the multiple attribute to allow the user to select more than one value. So what you need to do here, when you in the select, you have mentioned the ID, you have mentioned the name, we have also mentioned the size. Now we'll mention multiple. So what will happen, you can select more than one value. Like for example, you could select this, something like that. So for that you need to do command and then you need to select all this to select multiple options, right? And then you need to, like, you have to press command and you could select multiple options like this. You just have to write a add a multiple attribute to the select section. Now let us talk about the text area element. The text area element defines a multi-line input field. A text area name is equal to message and rows are 10, columns are 30. The cat was playing in the garden. So this is our text area. So now we could also mention the number of how is going to be the text area. So the rows and columns, so how many rows should be there and how many columns should be there, and this much text area is available in which we could write our message, or we could even input data from the user. So this is the text area element. This much text area will be come, as you have seen in default settings, usually a rectangle is given to us. So this is how text area works. Button we have already discussed. Now let us talk about field set and legend elements. The field set element is used to group related data in a form. The legend element defines a caption for the field set. So let us see how it works. So field set. So field set will do what? Field set will add this border to your form, and the legend will like in between legend we have written personalia. So what will it do? It will add a heading to it. So the field set element is used to group related data in a form, and the legend element defines a caption for the field set element. For example, if I create such a form and in here I'll write personal details, then I'll write address and communication. In that particular section, I'll be asking all the, address and phone number and everything of the user. So different sections, the related areas can be grouped together by using field set and legend area. So for field set, if I don't use this legend, for example, if I just remove this for a while, so what will happen? It will come in a box. But if I put legend over here, so what will happen? Personalia will be written over here as the heading. So this is how it works. And let us now talk about the data list element. The data list element specifies a list of predefined options for an input element. User will see a drop-down list of the predefined options as the input data. The list of the attribute of the input element must refer to the ID attribute of the data list element. So here we have input list is equal to browsers, data list ID will be browsers. Now option value will be Edge, Firefox, Chrome, Opera, Safari, etc. etc. So what we need to do? So here we have these different options and we can select one. So this is how data list works. It gives me a list of particular options. It is different from select function, and in that a drop down menu used to come, and in data list we could select by writing one of the predefined options. Now let us talk about the output element. If we want the output element represents the result of the calculation, like one performed by a script. So for example, let us say this is the code. Now here x dot value is equal to parse int a dot value plus parse int b dot value. So what will happen if I want to this is a input that ranges from 0 to 100. So this is how you could create it, and in this if I have to add 50 or some other number like 54, any number I will select and add 54 to it, so I'll get this result. So output for x will just make a code of it, and we could print this. So we'll be discussing it later. So that's all for this HTML form elements. In the next topic I'll be discussing about HTML input types.